Hey guys, who didn't love playing video games as kids? We all had our favorite types of games to play, and while some people still remember those games today, others have forgotten them. In this video, I'm going to remind you of some classic games from our childhood, bringing back your memories and helping you relive those moments. So stay tuned and watch along with me.
Tommy Vassetti? Shit. Didn't think they'd ever let him out.
He kept his head down, helps people forget.
People will remember soon enough.
People did remember and will remember for years to come. By now, I know you all have guessed it already. It's none other than the myth, the legend, the man, Tommy Vercetti himself from GTA Vice City. I challenge you to pick any random person and ask them what their favorite childhood game is. Many will answer GTA Vice City. It's amazing to think how long it's been since the game came out, but it still feels like yesterday that we have last played it. Sure, games like San Andreas, GTA 4, GTA 5 have better graphics and features, but Vice City has a special place in our hearts. I still remember the days when my friends and I would compete to see who had the most progress and discovered the most hidden secrets in GTA Vice City. After all, my post-school routine was all about loading up the game, cruising in fancy cars, completing missions, and evading the cops. Though we don't want to agree, we would always try to hide the computer screen from our mom when the loading screen with the girl shows up. Come on, I know you did it too. And of course, the cheat codes. I still know them by heart. Fanny Magnet, Seaways, Come Fly With Me were always my favorites. What about you? Let me know your favorite GTA Vice City cheats in the comments. Back in the day, Project IGI was a game that completely drew me in. Unlike most shooters, it focused on stealth and strategy. You couldn't just charge in with guns blazing, you had to think, plan, and sneak carefully through each mission. I loved every bit of it. The missions were tough, with huge maps to explore and many different ways to approach them. I remember spending hours trying to find the best path to dodge guards, disable cameras, and get through without setting off alarms. You had to be patient, and when things went wrong, you had to act fast to survive. That tension made it thrilling. Project IGI wasn't just a shooter, it was a serious tactical challenge. There were no save points, so every mission was high stakes, and every mission really mattered. Looking back, those missions felt like real test of skill and patience. It was a game that truly stood out for its time, and it's still one of my favorite gaming memories. Cricket is an extremely popular sport, and when EA Sports launched Cricket 07, it had a huge impact on gaming in India, and the game quickly became a favorite. Its realistic graphics, smooth gameplay, and attention to detail made it stand out. How can someone forget the funny player naming conventions to the iconic commentary from Mark Nicholas and Richie Bernard, which was icing on the cake? Playing the game felt like being a part of a real cricket match with authentic teams, players, and stadiums. It took me some time to get used to the controls, but once I did, I became really good at it. Scoring runs with every shot and taking wickets consistently felt amazing and never got boring. At that time, no other cricket game in India could match Cricket 07's quality or popularity. Back in the day, Midtown Madness was a game that got me hooked on driving. Unlike today's hyper-realistic racing games, Midtown Madness was all about freedom. You could explore every corner of Chicago, cruise down the highways, cut through parks, or even smash right through traffic. It was so different from other games at the time, and I loved it. There were different modes too. I'd spend hours racing against the clock or just cruising around the city with no rules. You could even set the weather and time. So sometimes I'd drive through thick fog or heavy rain, or just enjoy a night drive with headlights lighting the way. It felt so immersive back then. Honestly, Midtown Madness wasn't just a racing game, it was this sheer open world driving experience that no other game could match at the time. The freedom, the thrill, the exploring, it was unforgettable. Those were some really good times. How could I forget Road Rash, the ultimate motorcycle combat game? I still recall the thrill of racing at breakneck speeds while fending off opponents with chains and clubs. It was chaotic, it was wild, and it was incredibly fun. The freedom of the open road combined with brutal combat created an addictive gameplay experience. Every race felt like a battle for survival, where skill and strategy mattered just as much as speed. Whether I was taking down rivals or crashing spectacularly, every moment was filled with laughter and excitement. Road Rash wasn't just about racing or winning, it was about having a great time with every ride. If there's a game that brought action and humor together in the most entertaining way, it's Total Overdose. This game was all about explosive action, over the top moves, and that classic cool factor making it a favorite for anyone who played it. Set in Mexico, Total Overdose follows the story of Ramiro Cruz, a guy on a mission to avenge his father's death. But it's not your typical revenge story. This game is filled with crazy stunts, slow motion shootouts, and a massive arsenal of weapons. The open world environment was another standout feature. You could roam freely through the streets of Mexico, taking on missions, causing chaos, or just exploring for hidden secrets. And the soundtrack? Absolutely iconic. With its Mexican beats and edgy music, it added to the game's wild and fun vibe. The graphics and gameplay were smooth for the time, and the game was filled with humor that made it even more enjoyable. From battling cartels to surviving epic shootouts in slow motion, Total Overdose had it all. For many of us, it was a game that brought something new, a game that you could play over and over without getting bored. If there's one game that made us fall in love with street racing, it's Need for Speed Most Wanted. With its open world gameplay, intense police chases, and the iconic blacklist rivals, this game kept our adrenaline pumping. The freedom to explore the city, customize your dream car, and tackle thrilling challenges was unmatched. The game's visuals, from detailed cars to immersive environments, set a new standard. And who can forget the excitement of evading cops with heart-pounding soundtracks playing in the background? Whether it was upgrading your car or taking down a blacklist racer, every moment in Most Wanted was pure excitement. A true masterpiece in racing games. Virtua Cop, a classic that introduced so many of us to arcade-style shooting. This was one of the first games that made us feel like real cops, taking down criminals in fast-paced action sequences. In this game, you play as a police officer on missions to take down criminals in fast-paced action. The gameplay involves aiming at targets that appear in real time, which creates a thrilling experience. The tension of hitting your target or reloading just before being attacked adds to the excitement. Playing with light gun controllers at arcades made it feel like you were part of an action movie. Virtua Cop's simple yet challenging gameplay kept players engaged as they aimed for high scores. It was one of the few true arcade shooters requiring skill and quick reflexes. Whether at home or in an arcade, Virtua Cop remains a memorable game for many gamers. Last but not the least, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Prince of Persia: Warrior Within, a game that takes you on a journey of action and time. What made Warrior Within so special was the combination of intense swordplay and the unique ability to manipulate time. You could rewind your mistakes, slow down enemies, or even freeze moments to execute perfect moves. The dual weapon combat system and elaborate combos added to the excitement, making every battle feel fresh. There were thousands of mysterious elements in the game, which I still find shocking. Prince of Persia's graphics rival even today's games. The main villain, Dahaka, was truly terrifying. Rumored to be invincible, he adds an element of fear and urgency to your journey. Players must strategize to confront this formidable foe while uncovering the mysteries surrounding him. All these games made our childhood truly awesome. Let me know in the comments which of these games was your favorite. And if you want to see a second episode, be sure to comment down below.